When I heard that Sennheiser was building an underwater microphone for the GoPro Hero 4, I nearly lost my shirt. Are you freaking serious? You mean all the recordings of me screaming like a whiny, hairless infant can continue after I hit the water? What does high-quality submarine audio even sound like? Dreams of dialogues with dolphins danced in my dome.
Linus, bro, you can't bring your computer into the water.
We finally got one! But at $200, does it offer enough under-the-sea adventure to whet your appetite? Let's dive in. HP's new Omen X lineup comes equipped with Intel's 7th generation Core i7 processor. Check it out at the link in the video description. Excited about owning a piece of history? I ripped open this technological breakthroughs box, liberating the high-quality foam that encapsulated the device. And I'd be lying if I said my audiophile parts weren't tingling a little bit. The most obvious physical characteristic of the MK2 Elements is the dead cat style windscreen. So clearly then, this thing isn't just made for underwater use. And if you're just dying to touch it at this point, you're not the only one. It ended up though being a little less fuzzy and a little more prickly than I expected. Turns out that's because, much like me, it's meant to be rugged, resistant to dust, mud, and snow when used above the water's surface. The microphone mounts to a shell that will soon become the back half of your GoPro's waterproof housing. Snap it on to the hinge of the stock front piece, then this little cable-managed wire and this tiny PCB are responsible for connecting the mic to your Hero 4's Mini B USB port. They can safely be removed later, by the way, using this tab. You then tuck the whole thing discreetly into the backplate and bring the two halves of the housing together to form a holy union of hermetically sealed happiness. I have to say, I was a little surprised to see an exposed PCB. But if you look really closely, you can actually see that the housing is ever so slightly thinner where it rests, which should give you then some idea of how tight the space constraints were for this product. The whole package is very light at just 45 grams, and setup is easy. You don't have to change any settings or turn the mic on separately, it just works. But how well does it work? Well, we could have done all of our testing in the local pool, but that costs $375 for admission, and since it wasn't going to be me doing the test anyway, we decided to send the new guy to run some tests in the temperate waters of the Canadian Pacific. I mean, what better underwater aural experience to capture than the screams of a panicked LMG rider being subjected to temperatures low enough to store your leftovers? We started by running some highly conventional tests, using both the Hero 4's internal mic and the Sennheiser Elements microphone, including the Bel Air test.
Oh, this is the story all about. Now this is the story all about how.
And the extreme close-up. But then we got a little confused. The Hero 4's basic, standard waterproof housing obstructs the internal mic, resulting in muffled, distant sound, especially when recording speech.
Safe to say I'm a little salty. Oh, I'm salty.
So then, the Elements kicks ass out of the water, especially considering it's at the end of a stick 5 feet away.
Oh, this is already a bad idea.
But that's not what we were amped about when it came to this product. And when it comes to the difference under the water, well, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Finally, at that point then, that we fired up the reviewer's guide and realized that the Elements isn't really meant to be some epic James Cameron level underwater camera. In fact, it's only rated for pressures of 1 bar for up to 30 minutes. I mean, what does that mean, 1 bar? That's just sea level here. So, practically speaking then, it means you can probably take this thing snorkeling for about a half an hour, which is okay, I guess, but I really wish that it was rated to the same depth as the waterproof housing that it's replacing. I mean, am I even gonna be able to take this thing next time I wanna go cliff diving? Though at this point, you guys are probably thinking, come on, cheer up, Linus. Focus on the other points. Memba the windshield? Yeah, I memba. And you know what? It actually does do a really good job above ground. We took our Hero 4 on a little bike ride, comparing the sound quality between the GoPro's standard closed back housing, the open backed housing, and the Elements mic. And with the closed back housing, the internal mic basically only picked up noise from the bike's front tire, almost nothing being said by the rider. The open back housing started off doing a pretty reasonable job at capturing voice, but
This is normal talking volume.
but soon encountered its arch nemesis, wind, once the bike started moving. And coming back to the Elements, both of these were complete non-issues.
Yourself on a bike and you're riding by things that are noisy like that.
The windshield completely cut out wind noise during our bike test, and it even worked when wet. Not only that, but it doesn't capture a lot of the creaks, squeaks, and other handling noises that the internal mic does, because it's mounted using a flexible, shockproof standoff. So bottom line then, right now, this is the only works with GoPro certified mic. Can't believe it took this long. You can use it with mostly the same mentality that you would your GoPro, and it sounds great compared to the onboard mic. So while it isn't the magical product we wanted it to be, if you've got $200 to blow on better GoPro audio, until the Chinese Me Too brands clone it, and even probably long afterward, this looks like your best choice. HP's new Omen X lineup comes equipped with Intel's 7th generation Core i7 processor. Check it out at the link in the video description. Get subscribed, hit that like button, or check out the link to where to buy the stuff we featured in the video description. Also down there is our merch store, which has cool shirts like this one, and our community forum, which you should totally join.